Hi there, Dave Rawlings here of the London Longsword Academy, and today I wanted to give a very quick overview of some of the fencing jackets that I have in my possession and what I think of them. So the first one is the basic padded jacket from Historica Clothing. And this is a little bit of a difficult one for me to review because they gave it to me just before lockdown when I had a bit of a belly, and then my shoulders grew back and my belly disappeared, and now it doesn't really work for me very well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it to someone in the class to try and gift it to them basically from you, and then I'm going to come back to this and review it with their feedback as we go through. So a few things I can mention is I feel they're one of the first people who very much got this idea of lifting the shoulders right, or lifting the arms right. So this is really designed with your arm being raised as its initial position, and that's a very good thing. So it's very comfortable for that. The other thing that I found very good when I first started using it, bear in mind my forearms swell massively, they have some strange muscle memory going on, was this overlap on the sleeve, which makes it very nice and easy to take off in comparison to some other jackets. That was a very good feature. What I didn't like so much about this was that there is no underlay between the zip and you. So I really dislike that there's no fabric behind a zip. This is something I criticise very much in the Leon Paul Titan jacket, although this hasn't got the triangle of the little hole of death in the neck at the top of the zip, which was a really big misstep on a jacket, and I did not appreciate the way that they dealt with that at all. It took a long time to get a good result on it. So this, however, I think could do again with this fabric behind the zip, so that if anything does go through the zip, you still have that bit of fabric behind it, but that's my main problem with it. The other thing is that this has got what I call the granny neck on it, which is that because it doesn't have that bit of fabric, I don't know if you had this from your mother or your granny, you zip it up and sometimes you catch your neck skin in it, and I do not like that. But this is a very nice jacket, though quite thin, has almost a sort of like laminate feel in it. You can kind of perceive the layers of cloth in it, if you understand what I mean. But interesting, and I will review this when one of my students who fits this has had a good time to play in it. High heel pants jackets. Now these are really the high fashion of HEMA, or were. I think Spes is beginning to really overtake in that front as well. They're getting some glorious jackets coming through, but they were really the one that developed this nice shoulder covered, which is kind of handy. It kind of catches things as they go up as well, which is quite nice. But absolutely beautiful jackets. Here you can see that piece of fabric that I said behind the zip, which I think is absolutely necessary. Jose has made beautiful jackets. One thing to be aware of is because they are very cotton, they do kind of deteriorate over a little while. They haven't fallen apart, but you can feel the thinness develop in them. So do be aware of that. And of course, with all of these things, as soon as you notice a rip or tear in them, that's really a point to retire these. But these have been absolutely beautiful. We don't play very hard with them, but they are absolutely so comfortable, so lovely if you get them tailored to you. And Jose, beautiful tailoring. So this was always my go-to jacket for feeling fashionable and just doing anything Vertidera Destreza and just feeling magnificent. Absolutely great jackets. With these, always tip your swords. Anything that's got this real cottony feel to it, make sure you tip your swords. Tip your swords anyway. Gajardoni. Now this is the Gajardoni, I can't remember what it was called now, but it was the officer style jacket that everybody absolutely adored, and this is still probably of my relatively high protection jackets. This is, I think, one of the 800 Newton ones. This is very much my favorite, but it was not perfect. The linings on these is lovely. It made it so easy, even when you were really sweaty, just to slip your jacket off. Absolutely wonderful, but you feel so protected as well. The zips were okay, they weren't magnificent. A couple of things I think they did really fail on, and I tried talking to them about this. It didn't get resolved, unfortunately, before they went out of business. And that was the Velcro here was so thin that it kind of started pulling away from the seam of that Velcro, or from the sewing of that Velcro, and it just didn't hold the jacket closed. And that, combined with the fact that your poppers or your buttons were only pseudo popper buttons, meant that you didn't have another way of closing this. Now, some of my students who still have these jackets and still absolutely love them. They've really stood the test of time very, very well. Put little eyes and hooks on them, but that is a feature that really should have been there. There should have been a good sizable amount of Velcro, or there should have been good poppers, or both, or good buttons. But still, one of the most beautiful, most resilient, lovely, lovely jackets that's been made ever, in my opinion. The Gajardoni Heavy. Now this is a back fastening one, and it always feels a little bit like you've gone crazy when you put it on. Integral shoulder protection, which some of my students really appreciate, and integral elbow protection. I really, really rarely wear this, but again, for what it was, I think it is an absolutely magnificent jacket. It was one of the few back fastening jackets that was actually really comfortable to put on and take off. And again, this lining, you felt incredibly protected, but it was also very easy to take off when you're very heavily sweaty. And that, again, fantastic. Gajardoni, I know they've re-emerged in some form, but I don't know if they're of the same quality. They were magnificent jackets with those small things as little oversights, as I say, but still beautiful, beautiful jackets. Now this, I'm late to this. I haven't got an AP jacket for no reason other than I haven't got an AP jacket, and I prefer the kind of the more plush looking ones, as you may have noticed. But the Spes officer jackets, again, one of the things about a jacket that I think points out its quality is how often you want to put it on. So when I borrow people's AP's jackets, I put them on and I've gone, yep, this is really good. I feel really protective. There's a good amount of movement, but I don't know. I don't want to wear it all the time. It's not a joy to wear. Whereas these are really good. I feel very, very protected when I wear it, as in against thrusts and the like. It's good. Tip your weapons. It feels protective, it feels flexible. It's not something you want to get cracked hard on the elbows with if you're going insanely heavy with a longsword, but it's a lovely general fencing jacket. This as the thing that I would pick up every single day and go out and play with somebody, not insanely hard as I say, but the thing that I would pick up, put on every single day and be delighted to wear it. It's actually, for its convenience and its comfort, this has become like my favourite jumper. And I would wear this pretty much every day. So I am a late convert to the officer's jacket, but I think it's absolutely fantastic. So I'm sorry, high heel. I really, really love my high heel jackets, but something about the way these are made, they just allow for a good amount of movement while still looking pretty good, while not magnificent, and they're just a pleasure to fence in every day. So this is probably my general recommendation for the jackets, is the Spes officers. I would really like to see what the new Gajardonis are like, because they did used to knock the crap out of everything as far as quality is concerned, but we shall see. Hope you enjoyed the reviews. Take care.